Welcome to You Make the Difference. I'm Wanda Walker, and today we're talking to Mary Vincent with Wellroot Family Services and Angela Sievert, who is a foster parent with Wellroot. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, now May is Foster Care Awareness Month, and Wellroot is partnering with other agencies in Troup County to get the word out that we need more foster parents in Troup County. We don't have enough, and children are having to go into other counties and not being able to stay in Troup County. And we'll hear why it's so important that the children get to stay in Troup County in just a few moments. But first, we'll start with Mary and tell us about Wellroot Family Services.
Yeah, so Wellroot Family Services helps to develop and support foster families both here in Troup County and other counties. And like you said, May is National Foster Care Awareness Month, so really it's a time to raise awareness about the needs of having more foster families, like you mentioned, and also just circling around foster families and supporting those families in our community. Wellroot does a number of things beyond helping foster parents. We have also begun implementing additional programs that help support families before they interface with the system as well. But today we're really here to focus and highlight the importance of foster families and also celebrate those that do this hard work and are in the trenches with us.
Yes, and I'm really looking forward to hearing the foster parent stories. Yes. All right, so how many children are in foster care in the state of Georgia?
In Georgia, there's around 11,000 kids in foster care. Here in Troup County, there are 67 kids in foster care. And so as we talked about the importance of just really having kids locally, we really want to talk about the need for developing more families here in Troup County, because although 67 kids doesn't seem like a ton of kids compared to the 11,000, it's really critically important that we serve those kids in this county. So.
Yes, and that we serve them well. And there just aren't enough foster parents, are there? No. So we're wanting to recruit some. So if you're interested, we're going to have a program that's going to tell you how you can do that. So listen up. All right. Why is it important to keep children close at home?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, the trauma of kind of no matter what's happening in the family, taking a kid away from their birth family is traumatic in and of itself.
Yes.
So also having to remove them from their community, their familiar physical space, their familiar support systems, their school system, just compounds that trauma. And so if we can keep them close to home in their communities, that really reduces that trauma. And secondly, getting kids back to their family is the whole goal. The whole goal initially is to reunify families, and if kids are placed really far from their home, it makes that really complicated. There's more coordination. It's harder to visit with the biological family, and when they're close to home, reunification, there's data to support that happens quicker and it's more successful. And so it just really helps with the whole process. So.
Yes, and so Wellroot is helping families come back together, right?
That's right, really.
Yes.
So our whole mission is really surrounding restoring children and families from trauma, and the research shows that kids really belong with their families, and while foster care is meant to be temporary, the whole goal is restoring that family back to being together.
Yes,
so.
Because children love their parents,
Absolutely.
don't they? And there is that strong connection that, I mean, I don't know if it can be broken, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yes, okay. What's the greatest challenge facing children in the foster care system?
I think today we see not enough families locally to support the needs. There's growing children. We have our greatest need for families with large sibling groups that will take care of large sibling groups and teenagers, and so there's a real shortage for families that are willing to do that. And then I think families that are also willing to take on that partnership parenting with the birth family, and also just willing to navigate some of the needs. You know, with trauma, kids coming in have more complex needs as far as mental health needs, nurturing and attachment needs, and so that placement stability and having one foster home for the duration of their stay is really important. And so that's a big challenge for us right now, is finding those stable placements that will care for those kids.
Yes, it has to have someone with a heart to do it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, and what does Wellroot do to support the families?
Yeah, so once families kind of raise their hand and say they're interested, we first just help them understand what they are signing up to do. So there's an education process, there's a vetting process, they have to go through some background checks, and we do a home study, and so we facilitate that whole process. And then once they are licensed to take children, we assign them a case manager with our agency. So that person is different from their DFACS case manager, and also that is a very important part of the team as well. But our case manager then supports them the entire time that they're fostering, through as they take in new children, as those children leave. And so that looks like, you know, we're helping from an emotional support. This can surely take a toll on a family as far as all the ins and outs of what it takes to care for children, and so we provide that emotional support, and then just tangible supports, donations, and transportation sometimes for kids to get to appointments. And then we also just help families connect to one another, and also community supports.
Yes. So the foster parents are nurturing the children, and you're nurturing the foster parent.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
Yes,
and I know you need that support, right? Yes.
For sure.
Okay, so what is the process for becoming a foster parent?
So the first step would be to go to our website, fosternow.org. I think it's listed right here, and sign up, give us your information, and we can help answer some of those preliminary questions. And then we have a kind of broader information session to help, like I mentioned, kind of orient to the big things, like what do you need to know before going forward. And then we provide training, which is typically about 24 hours of kind of pre-service training. And then we help families through their home study process, which is some interviews, some home inspection kind of things, and really help them center around and prepare them for what they're about to get into.
Yes.
Of course, everybody says you can get all the training, and then when that child arrives, it's like, it's a whole new journey that you sort of have to reacclimate to. So
yes, and that's really like with life too. When you're expecting a new child in the family, you don't know what to expect, and you don't get an instruction manual.
That's right.
But it's kind of nice that you provide an instruction manual and some backup support. So that is great. So, are there other ways that people can help or get involved if they don't necessarily want to be a foster parent, but they would like to help out?
yeah, absolutely. So we also recruit for respite families that can help take care of kids temporarily if a foster parent needs to go out of town and can't take the child with them, or maybe they just need to take a breather. So it's kind of like backup child care or overnight care temporarily. So we recruit those families too. In addition, just if there are families in your community that are fostering, foster parents need the normal stuff too, like the that respite care is normal, but like the babysitting, the meals, the just emotional support. It can sometimes feel isolating because not everybody around you is fostering, and not everybody gets it. Not everybody gets the what it takes to do this work, and so just kind of being a listening ear and kind of be willing to listen to a foster parent about what their needs are, and anybody can do that, you know. So I would say those are the ways that people can step forward.
Yes. All right. And so I would think that churches could really provide people who could help. Are there churches involved with Wellroot?
Absolutely. So Wellroot, we're a 150-year organization. We used to be the United Methodist Children's Home, and we are still very connected and are a very faith-centered organization. And so churches are a huge part of the work that we do, from donation drives to financial support. They take a special offering for us. And then also just raising up foster families. And so we have churches that take this on as their ministry of finding families and then also creating those supports around families. And so churches are a huge partner. And I'll be honest with you, if every church did this,
Yes.
we could really make a huge dent in some of these numbers we're talking about. So,
Yes, we could. So Angela, is your church involved?
Yes.
Okay, and which church is your church?
Three Life.
Three Life
Church.
Okay, great.
Huge support system.
Yes, great. Okay, let's talk about kinship placements and how they're different from just placements in the foster family. What's a kinship placement?
So when a child comes into foster care, DFACS is typically going to look for relatives first to kind of create that natural support for a child, so they don't have to be fully removed, like I said before, from their kind of known caregivers and such. So that's really the first option that we try to get kids with relatives. And so kinship placements are just that. So when a kid is in foster care, a kinship family can step forward. And sometimes that's a more informal way too. So there's kind of these relative informal kinds of arrangements, but then kin can also become foster parents. And so we've helped situations like that too. And then sometimes our foster parents become kind of like a fictive kin to kids in care that have maybe left their home and come back and have developed relationships with that biological family where everybody's sort of connected now as a family. So
Yes. Okay, Angela, so you have two children. You have a biological son and an adopted daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're presently fostering 3 children aged 5, 6, and 8.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. I'd say you're a super mom.
I'm just a mom.
Okay. So you've been fostering for 4 years through
A
Wellroot.
little over 4, yes.
Yeah, and I can tell that you have a real good relationship with Wellroot, and that you would promote them in the community, and that they've really been a help to you. Is that right?
Oh, yes, for sure.
Okay, so you've been fostering for 4 years. What inspired you to become a foster parent?
Well, growing up, my mom had an in-home daycare. So throughout my whole life, I've been around kids. And then as I got older, I babysat all the time, every weekend. And I just loved teaching and being around and watching them grow and having conversations with them and stuff. So it was just kind of like second nature. Plus, growing up, my mom, when someone would ask me what I wanted to be growing up, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
It wasn't a policeman or, whatever.
Secretary
Secretary.
or
it was just to be a mom.
Yeah.
Like my mom.
Yes.
And so I knew one day when I got older and realized what foster care was about. I had, friends that I went to school with that were in foster care. But I didn't quite understand the whole ordeal,
Yes.
But then as I got older, I realized, after having my son, that something just was still missing for me to do. I didn't quite know what my mission was in life. So I just opened myself up to the idea of going through and just saying yes to we're gonna start fostering and start this journey, because we feel like that's what we were called to do. So
Now, how many children have you fostered?
9 total.
9 total already.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And so tell me about your adopted daughter.
So she was actually our first placement. And like I said, the first thing in foster care is, reunification. However, unfortunately, that's not always the case for some children. So, and that was her case. So with her being our first placement, we did not go into it thinking we were going to adopt right away at all. But, God had a bigger plan for us, and she was obviously meant to be with us, and we adopted her.
Yes.
So
So how old was she when you got her?
7 months old.
7 months. Oh, and when did you adopt her?
She came to us May of 2020, and her adoption was final March 15th of 2021. Hers happened fairly quickly. They don't all go that quickly.
Yes.
But she was part of a sibling, group that was, had already gone through process, and so.
Yes, very
Yes.
good. Okay, so your mama was she in Troup County when
Yes.
she had? And what's your mama's name?
Gloria
Gloria.
Sievert.
Gloria Sievert.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, what was the foster family training and onboarding process like for you?
We went through a series of classes. Initially, we went to like an introductory meeting, just to answer, basic questions, just to see what it's all about, the fundamentals, what the process looks like, and then from there we decided to go ahead and start the impact training. And from start to finish, it was about 3 or 4 months it took us to get through everything.
Yes.
With the background check and the home inspection, make sure your home, is safe, child proof.
Yes.
But it was fairly easy. A lot of people's like, that's just so much, it's so hard, but it's really not. It's a lot of paperwork, but it's really easy. It's an easy process than what people think it is.
Yes. And so, we talked about how, like, having the sibling groups, that's so important because there are not a lot of foster parents who will take sibling groups.
Right.
All right. So, how has that been for you? You got a house full of children, right?
Yes.
So, tell me about that.
Well, I always have children in my home, regardless. I have a big family with nieces and nephews and great nephews and great nieces. So on the weekends, we always have 7 or 8 kids. That's just normal for us.
Yes.
Between friends and all, but this particular sibling group that we have with us now is actually our first sibling group that we've taken. It was hard in the beginning, as any other child. You're trying to build that relationship, right, and know their wants and needs and their likes and dislikes, and but it's actually been really, really nice, having them with us, surprisingly, because a lot of people, they think, oh, it's so overwhelming, but it's not, it's really, it's good, it's fun.
Yeah, good.
So, yeah.
Yay, that is great. All right, so what support have you received from Wellroot and your community?
So much support. I honestly don't think that I could be a foster parent as long as I have without the support of Wellroot, honestly. The resources that they give you, just the personal conversations and stuff that you can reach out and just have those one-on-one conversations, just to have that support, to be heard.
Yes.
And then, my church, Three Life, we have a support group within the church that supports any of our foster families within, and and in the community as well. But so when a new placement comes in one of our homes, they start this whole process of like a meal train and donations of whether it's diapers or clothes, and same with Wellroot. They have anything you need, basically. If you need it, they're going to provide it.
Yeah.
And if they can't provide it, they're going to find a way to provide it.
That is awesome.
From somewhere, yes.
Yeah, that's great support.
Yes.
It really is. So how many in the church foster?
I believe we have 3 families right now.
That's great.
Mhm.
Okay, so what encouragement or advice would you give to someone that's considering being a foster parent?
You know, there's the saying that there's no time to plan for any child. You know, whether it's biological or fostering, you just can't plan for those things. So you can't pick a time when it's the right time.
Yes.
So you just say yes. I mean, you just bite the bullet and just go for it. You know, and it's so rewarding. You know, it has its challenges, but so do every child, you know, no matter where their background is from. You know, there is no perfect child. So you learn with them and grow with them and just offer that support and just say yes.
Yes. Yes. All right. So what fruit or benefits have you seen from fostering?
Reunification is the big thing. You know, just seeing the families and the parents grow and becoming their, you know, family again, and then gaining that relationship with those families. I'm still friends and have a ongoing relationship with past placements that I've had. And it's like an extended family.
Yeah.
So it's just really nice. You know, the stigma of foster parents, you know, that they're just, you know, wanting to just take in all these kids and, you know, but that's not the case. We're here to support, love, and nourish,
Yes.
you know, not just the children, but the parents and, you know, too, because they're going through, you know, so much trauma along with the kids. So.
Yes, and I know that they appreciate that support that they get. You know, sometimes you realize that you just are overwhelmed and struggling and those kinds of things, and you do things that are best for your children. And so to have somebody like you to step in and take care of their children, and not only take care of their children, but to love them too. I mean, that is such a blessing, and really what the body of Christ is all about, isn't it?
Yes.
It's what we need to be doing. Okay, so how do you build those connections with the birth parents?
Well, right away, I always ask, you know, my caseworker, are they open to having a conversation or a relationship with us? You know, because you have some, maybe one time, you know, she just wasn't quite open, which was fine. But the majority of all of my cases, I'm just open and transparent from the start.
Yes.
I'm here to be of support. I love to have the open communication because I love to send pictures, you know, of the kids, and especially if they're reaching milestones, you know, that the parents are missing out. I want them to be a part of that, even though they're, you know, away.
Yes.
So basically, the way I see it, you know, is us as foster parents, we're just bridging that gap to make it an easier transition, you know, for everybody, not just the children. So, you know, there are no hiccups, basically. You know?
Yes. Yes. Okay, so I can see where God is blessing that family with people like you. He really is. I mean, that's awesome. All right, so what else should our community know about foster care or becoming a foster parent that you want to share?
You know, the need is great. We do not have enough homes. Like she was mentioning, you know, it's really hard on the kids to have to leave everything that they know. And if they're having to leave not just their home and everything they, you know, have ever known, to have to change schools or, you know, or churches or just any familiar areas and communities, just to uproot. I mean, even as an adult, I would feel, awkward and a
Yes.
little, beside myself if I had to just go and, do that. So I think it's important if people could come together and just open their heart to, and the idea of being a foster parent, because it's important, to keep the community.
And sometimes, I've tried to imagine what it would be like to be taken from your family. I mean, that would be so traumatic. But then to be able to land in a home like yours and be loved and nurtured and taken care of, and that family connection not be broken,
Right.
is such a blessing to those children. It is. Okay, Mary, tell us how people can get involved, learn more, and offer support to family.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, and I also wanted to add, I mean, Troup County is a special place. I know for those of you that have grown up here, but Judge Key is a tremendous leader in this effort of keeping kids local, and has been a big, he really is calling us to action. And it's been nice to work in partnership with other agencies like Twin Cedars and Bloom, to get this kind of grassroots campaign going. So to answer your question though, learning more, right back to our website, fosternow.org, and give us some of your information, and we will follow up to answer any of your questions about
Yes.
fostering.
Yes,
So,
okay. All right, now I just want to mention that you're the mother of twins.
I am.
Yes, and I think that's very interesting. So you know a lot about how it is to have newborns come into your home and having to really prepare for something that maybe you didn't expect to receive the news that you were having twins, but it takes some extra effort. And so maybe with the fostering, lots of times you might think that you're going to foster one child, but then you get a call and there's 3 out there.
Yes.
And then you have to make that decision and make those preparations, and I'm sure that that's a really big deal. And so we appreciate what y'all are doing in the community. And I also appreciate Judge Key, and I know that he has worked on this, trying to get foster parents to come forth in Troup County for a long, long time. And so we hope that the people in Troup County who are listening today, who are ready and able, maybe this is a tug on their heart to go ahead and make that call or look at that website and become foster parents, because there are children out there who need you and need the love that you can provide them. We just want to thank you for watching You Make the Difference, and of course every time we remind you that you are one who makes a difference, and your difference can be great in a child's life. So we'll see you next week, and thank you for watching You Make the Difference.